Overseas, prosecutors in the US city of Tulsa have filed first-degree manslaughter charges against the white police officer who fatally shot an unarmed black motorist. It comes as investigations continue into the separate shooting death of another black man in the city of Charlotte, ahead of a possible third night of violent protests. North America correspondent Michael Vincent has more from Washington.
Officer Betty Shelby last week gunned down Terence Crutcher. She says as he was reaching into his car, she says that he wasn't following signs to stop, to obey police commands. The police at the time said, came out with a statement to that effect, only then to be embarrassed significantly when helicopter footage came out showing that Mr. Crutcher was indeed holding his hands in the air. He was moving around, perhaps under the influence of something, or perhaps had a mental problem, and then showed him going towards his car, which had the window up, and police say he was reaching through the window of his car. So there is a clear problem with what police were saying and what the video later showed. In this case, almost a week later, that officer, Betty Shelby, has now been charged with first-degree manslaughter. And I imagine for the family of Terence Crutcher, a 40-year-old man, who are extremely upset by the fact that he was unarmed at the time, they'll be pleased at least that the process of justice is underway. In the case of Tulsa, Oklahoma, they had a federal grant last year. This was a big push by the US President Barack Obama after, of course, Ferguson, Baltimore, a range of cities had violent protests after the deaths of unarmed black men, to push for, to give federal grants out for body cameras for police. Now, Tulsa, Oklahoma, they had the federal grant. They never put the haven't put the body cameras out there. But down in North Carolina and Charlotte, they do have body cameras, except now the police chief down there is refusing to release it publicly. He says he doesn't want to cause anyone, the family of the victim, any further suffering. He will show it to that family, but for now, and that's expected to happen later today, but for now, the police chief, Keith Sully, is not going to release the video publicly, and he says it's not even definitive either. Let's hear from him now.
The video does not give me absolute, definitive, visual evidence that that would confirm that a person is pointing a gun. I did not see that in the videos that I've reviewed. So what I can tell you, though, is when taken in the totality of all the other evidence, it supports what we've heard and the version of the truth that we gave about the circumstances that happened that led to the death of Mr. Scott.
Emotions are still very high in Charlotte after 2 nights of rioting and, of course, 44 arrests overnight. We believe there are sources now that a man who was shot, a civilian who was shot overnight, has died. The police are investigating whether that was one of their own officers who shot the man or another civilian. And so there has been a call from the calm for the family. And let's hear from Justin Bamberg, the lawyer of Mr. Scott's family, who kind of summed up what it's like for African-American men to be treated, how they get treated at the hands of police these days.
We do have a problem, and it has to be talked about. Regardless of the facts of how these situations play out at the end of the day, many citizens in this country feel as though many minorities, when they are encountered with the police, they're guilty until proven innocent. They're a threat until they prove that they are not a threat. And quite frankly, many feel as though they are inhuman until they are proven to be human. That is the underlying problem.
And that was lawyer Justin Bamberg. Before that, North America correspondent Michael Vincent. Now, fighting has broken out once more